Hey, I'm JR, training manager here at Crutchfield, and this is the Q Acoustics Q Active 200 system. It is an audiophile grade set of powered speakers with a central hub for all your wired and wireless connections. Let's talk about the speakers first. First off, they're heavy. Each one weighs over 16 pounds. That's because there's a lot going on inside these speakers. Each one has two drivers on the front and a subwoofer in the back. Each of those speakers has their own amplifier. There's 100 watts of power total in each speaker, 6 amplifiers in all, and digital signal processing for each amp for each speaker. So you can really get customized sound for the speaker's positioning as well as your preferences. The two drivers on the front are 2 1/4 inch balanced mode radiators, and as you can see, they are asymmetrically placed. They're not necessarily down the center of each cabinet. They do that for a couple reasons. It reduces refractions and interference with the actual front of the speaker or the front baffle. It also allows you to not have to tow the speakers in, which is often what we do with a 2-channel stereo setup. We angle them at our listening position. That is not necessary because of those speakers placement. I tested this when I was playing some music. I played several different songs and the stereo imaging was great. The singer was always front and center and you could hear the rest of the music in a nice wide soundstage. So great stereo imaging thanks to those front drivers. On the back of each speaker is a 4 1/2 inch subwoofer. It is a ported cabinet and there is a waveguide inside which helps the bass escape out of that cabinet in a nice tight way. So you're not going to have a lot of muddy bass. You're going to have deep, hard-hitting bass all the way down to 46 hertz with just the speakers. There's a sub out if you want to add more bass. You always can. You can go lower and deeper, but the speakers sound pretty full and rich all by themselves. Each individual driver on each speaker has its own amplifier, and each amplifier is coupled with a DSP or digital signal processor. The reason for that is so that you can adjust the sound of the speakers based on their placement in your room. There's a switch on the back of each speaker, and the switch has 3 positions for open, wall, and corner. And what that does is it allows it to tighten up that bass so it doesn't sound muddy when you get your speakers close to a wall. That's the kind of control you'll have. There's also a switch on the back so that you can tell your system which speaker is your left and which speaker is your right speaker. They also include 2 foam port plugs that you can use to put in the bass ports on the back of the speakers if you want to tighten up that bass even more. All of the connections to your music, both wired and wireless, are done through the central hub, not from each speaker. The central hub has an HDMI connection to connect it to your TV, so if you want to use these to make your TV sound a lot better, this is a great option for that. There's also an optical digital input so that you can connect like a digital music streamer or a CD player, something with a digital out. There's also an analog set of inputs you can use as either a line in for just about any device with analog RCA outputs. You can also flip a switch and put that in moving magnet mode or MM. So if you want to connect a turntable to this central hub, you can definitely do that. If your turntable has a moving magnet phono cartridge and no built-in preamp, you're good to go. The central hub has both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so if you just want a simple connection to your phone, it's got Bluetooth 4.1, so you can stream music from your phone into the speakers pretty quick and easy. However, I would recommend getting the system connected to your Wi-Fi network. Assuming you've got a good internet connection and a good wireless network, you'll be able to do things like use Spotify Connect, AirPlay 2. You'll be able to stream music from all of the major streaming services like Spotify, Tidal, Qobuz, Deezer, Amazon, Apple Music. You can even use this with your Google Home Assistant or Siri to set up multiple sets of these in multiple rooms and have a wireless multi-room audio system. There's also a hardwired Ethernet connection on the central hub so that you can hardwire it to your router if you want a more stable connection to the internet. It can take in your high-res music files, anything up to 32,192. It will down-res those to 2496. The system will also upsample your analog sources to 2496 as well. So it'll make your analog sources sound every bit as detailed as your high-res sources. And these speakers will look great on the QFS75. They are speaker stands developed specifically for these speakers. They have a nice modern look. They are also well designed to insulate the speakers from the floor of your house so that you don't lose bass and resonance down into the frame of your house. There's multiple ways to control the system. Each speaker has some top-mounted controls for volume and source selection. There is its own dedicated remote control. You can also control it with the Q Active app, and of course with your Google Home Assistant or Siri. I did get a chance to listen to these speakers just before we filmed this video. I was highly impressed, but Archer wrote a really nice review about them. It is on the product page for these speakers here on Crutchfield.com. He spent time writing very detailed notes about the music he was listening to on these speakers and what he thought about how great they sounded. I highly recommend you read through that because it'll give you an idea of what he thought these speakers will do for you. And if you're interested in either knowing more or getting a set of these speakers, definitely get in touch with us here at Crutchfield. Go to crutchfield.com/contact. You'll be able to talk live with one of our advisors either over the phone or chat with them online. You can also post your questions here on this YouTube video. We do read through those and we will answer your questions accordingly. Also, like, subscribe, turn notifications, you know the stuff. Thanks so much for watching.